Hey everyone, welcome back to Metal Mondays with Marathon Milio. Today we're going to do something a little different. Today when I reached into my box of medals, I pulled out this awesome one right over here, which is the AFC Half Marathon. And this one was in 2011. Shocker. And so when I reached into my box of medals, I pulled this one out, and I realized that I had already talked about this course twice, and then I mentioned it again last week when I talked about the Triple Crown medal that I got. And so I realized that I didn't really have anything more to say about it. I've already talked about it a few times. So I thought instead of talking about the course, I would kind of bring you out to it instead. And so here we are. This is part of the course where I'm standing at right now. This is where you run. This is a cool little loop between miles 7 or 8, I think. And it's cool because it's a really scenic part of the race, and it actually shows you kind of a lot. So I'm gonna start by showing you right behind me. I apologize, I know the sun's right behind me, so maybe you can't see much. But so right behind me, this little mountain area that you see here doesn't look that high up, but it really is. It's just not showing, I guess, really well in the video. But this is where you start. Right over there is Cabrillo National Monument. And so that's the start of the race. So when you're up there, you get to see all of this beautifulness right over here. And you start and you run, and you do about 1.5 miles to 2 miles up there before you start to come down. And when you start to come down, you start running into Point Loma, which is a really nice area as well. And so from Point Loma, you start running towards downtown, and to get to downtown you have to run by the airport, which is actually right behind me, and I'm pretty sure you can hear that airplane flying over me right now. So right behind me, way over there, is the airport. So when you come to the airport, you run this like little loop where I'm at right now, which is by the harbor, and you just you come into this little loop, you run around, come back around, and come back around again, and then you come and you exit the way you came in. And so this is where that little loop is, and this is what you see. You see the beginning of the race over there. You get to see the skyline of San Diego right over here. You can see Coronado Bridge like right over here. So it's just a really nice part of the race that you get to really get the sense of San Diego. It's beautiful. And so when you exit this little loop part where I'm at right now, you start running towards downtown, and you get into downtown, you start running around all those cool little skyscrapers and through the city of downtown. And from there you start heading back towards Balboa Park. And so Balboa Park itself is going to be a slight incline, but it's a really long incline, so it kind of sucks because it's literally at the end of your race. So you're at like mile 12, and then you have to start running up this incline, and you're doing it for about a mile itself. And so it's really miserable because it's at the end of the race. But other than that, the course itself is actually very flat and pretty easy. The main problem is that long hill at the very end, and also that it's in the middle of summer. It's in like the middle of August. So it's super, super hot, and it's hard to kind of to prepare for that, you know. So it kind of beats you up if you're not ready for it. We've actually had a couple years where there's been some advisories the day before where like it's going to be super hot, even though it's at like 6 or 7 in the morning. It gets that hot that early, and especially, you know, if you're going to run 13 miles, it could be a little dangerous. So the weather, the temperature, and the last hill at the very end are the hardest parts of the race. But if you can get over that, it's a really nice race. I would say it would be an easier race if it wasn't for the weather. But other than that, I mean, this is what you see when you're running. I mean, a lot of the races here in San Diego take you by some sort of water, either the bay or the harbor or the ocean, and this is where I train as well. This is like awesome. And so if you're not running any races in San Diego, then you're missing out, because look at this. It's really just kind of puts your mind at ease when you can just be running and maybe be hating life because why am I doing this? But then you look out and you see this, and it kind of calms you down a little bit, and you're like, this is why I'm doing it, because where else do you get to run and see these amazing views? But anyways, yeah, so like I said, I run a lot of races over and over, so I'm thinking now that depending on what medals I pick out, maybe I'll just start taking you to some points in the race instead of just chilling at my house and talking about things that I've already talked about. So thank you all for watching, and once again, this is Metal Mondays with Marathon Milio, and happy Monday, everyone.